Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Rise and Recreate podcast. I am your host, Raechel Shanny, and today's guest is my very good friend, Jamie, the artist behind J Fields Jewelry. Jamie is a former high school teacher who spent 14 years in a career that made sense on paper until one day it didn't. And beneath that structure and stability, there was a quiet pull towards creativity and expression and just a different way of living. What started out as jewelry classes and curiosities slowly became something undeniable. And she finally took the leap into becoming a full-time jeweler and artist. And now she's building a business, teaching her craft, and stepping into bigger spaces, including her first large trade show in New York. Jamie, I am so happy to have you here, and I would love for you to just go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Raechel. I'm Jamie. This is my studio. So I'm filming straight from the source. Raechel was actually reading I'm writing a book right now. So there's going to be even another evolution. My bio about just my journey from teacher to full-time artist.
I love that. So during your journey, at what point did that pull towards creativity become something that you just couldn't ignore anymore?
I feel like I was always creative and artistic, but never just like the best artist in the class. And so it was never something that I truly pursued, but I always felt really confident when I was in art class. I was always really proud of what I was making. But I'm just not the greatest like drawer or painter. I'm just like mediocre at that. So I didn't think it was artistry or being an artist was ever a path that I could actually follow. I did, however, paint the Monet gardens once, and it was like I thought it was fantastic. So that like traveled with me to every house I moved to for years. But yeah, it just never I was never like top in the class or even close really. So it just didn't stand out to me as a career I could follow.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, myself included, where because I couldn't draw or paint, those typical things we usually deem creative, I just deemed myself as, oh, I'm not creative until later in my life I got into photography and somebody told me you are creative. And I was like, am I? So I would love for you to share, so you had this idea of creativity and something that you might want to pursue, but it sounds like there was a little fear there. So what led you into teaching?
I gotta be honest, like as a teenager, I kind of phoned it in with like I got good grades in high school. I got into the University of Maryland, which is a good school. And I originally was undecided because I just had no clue. And it's impressive because I did teach high school and the students that I taught, they knew. They were like, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a doctor, like I want to be a programmer. I wasn't tuned into that. In high school, I was social, I was playing sports, I was going to parties. I didn't care. But then I did like school was just something recognizable to me. It was something tangible as a teenager who was not sheltered, but certainly not worldly. Like I grew up in a diverse area, but no one was really like chasing wealth with their career paths where I was. So it was just kind of like, what speaks to your heart? So I settled on teaching because it was just something that I knew and it seemed like a safe bet. Um, and I then focused on history because I just thought that would be really cool and interesting,
So
which
the
it
safe
was.
bet,
I still love history.
right? So I think so many people do that. I also had no idea what I wanted to go to school for. I just knew it was the thing you were supposed to do. So I was like, what's something I like? And it would have been nice if somebody was like, no, don't actually go to school for what you like. Go to school for what's going to make you money. But that is okay. So,
And I think I said this on our one of our group chats, like, why do we choose our path at 18.
Yes.
Like, why am I choosing this path and then I'm stuck with it forever kinda deal? I think life is short, and 18-year-old me is, like, a million miles away from 41-year-old me, so, yeah.
I agree. Living in two completely different worlds, me and my 18-year-old self. And there is a lot of pressure at that age to be like, okay, here you are, you're young, you're going to be an adult now. Just go ahead and define the rest of your life while you're at it, okay? Like, what are you to do forever for the next 50 years until you retire? If you retire, if you live that long, we don't know.
Yeah, well, and Obama, well, Obama wasn't president back then, but it continued into the Obama era. There were programs, for teachers where you could get your loans forgiven if you taught for a certain amount of time, at a Title I school. So that was also very enticing.
Absolutely.
In this
Absolutely.
economy, I mean
For real though. But you mentioned you knew this was the safe bet. So even then, you it sounds like you had an idea of if I could fully trust myself and go on in, there is something that I would rather do in the creative realms. And
yeah.
so you finally came full circle back to that moment. What was the deciding factor for you to take a bet on yourself?
Well, I think I've noticed a lot of women in their, like, 30s, and now I'm entering my 40s, I've already entered it, and you start to live this, like, inner life, like a deeper inner life that you weren't living when your, frontal lobe wasn't fully formed, and I have a lot of friends who, like, switch careers around this time. I think the pandemic was a big kick in the ass for that, but, yeah, like, as you age and I'm now in my midlife, and it's awesome here, gotta say, but you live, like, a more of an inner life that I wasn't paying attention to when I was playing lacrosse and having beers at high school parties, you know? So I just felt this draw, and I actually think it took me to work that job, become an adult. I feel like I've always been, like people laugh when I say this, but I'm totally serious. I feel like I've always been, like, kinda immature, and so it took me, that was like a real push to becoming an adult was working that job and learning those responsibilities and becoming an intellectual in the way that you have to be a teacher. And then I felt like I had to do that, or I feel that way, um, in order to then go on this creative journey. And that started in 2011. I signed up for my first jewelry class when I was living in Annapolis. I took my first leap of faith into learning any type of, like, craft or hobby because I didn't really have hobbies for a long time in my adult life. I was doing yoga, that was pretty much it, and, still remains one of my greatest loves, but I had no hobbies, so I signed up for a jewelry class in 2011, when I was living in Annapolis.
And that was where the spark and the little fire was planted inside of you. And
Mhm.
so it's so cool though how sometimes the sparks are planted, but we don't necessarily take action on them right away. And so when you were thinking like, okay, I like this. I think I am probably capable of creating jewelry. Did you start creating and selling jewelry before you took the big leap of quitting your job and going all in, or how did that happen?
Definitely. I what did I do? I took the class in Maryland, and then eventually when I moved to California in, like, 2013, I started taking classes at the community college. We have a really great community college in San Francisco, and, now if you live in the city, the classes are free. So I've, like, taken guitar, and I really wanna take, a 3D modeling class there, but I signed up, and I just kept going back. Like, I basically exhausted the classes I could take with this one teacher, and then I would just start going to her. She worked in the Hunters Point shipyard, which is this really cool artist community that is in this old like barracks in Bayview. And I would just I'd be like, okay, I want to learn tube setting. And I would take a tube setting class with her and just pay her $50 every time and bring her a LaCroix. And so I did that for a while. And then I kind of reached the level of this is all I can learn in this space. And then I started taking classes at this place, Metalworks SF, which is like old school generational, like San Francisco family jewelry studio, really eclectic, really funky folks there. And I was a student there at first. And then the pandemic hit and I quit my job um, because I had a baby.
Yeah.
It was like a twofold. Um, I was always planning on going back, and then after I had her, I went back for a month and
Back to
decided
teaching.
like, yeah, I went back to teaching for a month after maternity leave, and it was still COVID times, and so then I decided to not go back after the next school year because it was like May when I went back, and then we had the summer. And everyone I worked with was bummed. They asked me to come back a few times, but I was a stay-at-home mom for a little while. Before that, I was doing a lot of craft fairs and while teaching, like on the weekends, I would make jewelry and sell it. With not a lot of time, I would like wake up at 5 a.m. the day I was supposed to go to the craft fair and like make 4 rings and then
Oh my
go.
goodness.
Yeah. So it was the designs really evolved over time because at first you are just doing what you can on the weekend and like you're like, okay, I'll make a turquoise ring. Like I know what that looks like. And it
Yeah.
takes a while to find your voice. But I feel like after years of just kind of working on the craft, that's what I get to play with now.
Absolutely. So you're saying that all of this started because you told yourself, I don't have any hobbies, and you went and took a class, and this class eventually evolved into the business you're running now. That is
Yes.
insane. And I would love for you to just kind of touch on a little bit of, following your curiosity like that and trusting that, like, oh, I don't even know if anything's going to come out for the or come from this, and having no attachment, but just being curious and how curiosity has played a part in your life.
Yeah. I mean, I never meant for it to be a business. I really liked jewelry. That was why I took the class. I love like adornment and little shiny things. I'm like a magpie. So I was really drawn to that. But then the actual process of making jewelry to me was very satisfying. Because like I said before, I wasn't like an amazing uh like artist with pencil or paint, but metal is just luscious and forgiving. And you can manipulate it in so many different ways, and you can make things look perfect or you can make them look organic. And I really liked that. But I never meant it to be a business. I just started like making things I would want to wear. And then I don't even honestly, I know I did my first craft fair in 2017, but I can't even tell you the thought process behind that. I don't I don't remember where my mind was at, but I just did it, and I did it with my friend Molly, the Treasure Island Fest, which was, like, the windiest friggin' market ever. We she bought these bags to give out to her people that bought things. She was doing, like, weaving, um, and we had to fill them with rocks from the river behind us just to hold down our tent.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy, and I feel like I had, like, 10 pieces of jewelry, but it was great. Yeah, and I still have I'll send you a picture of that. But it was yeah, it was like a leap of faith, and I feel like everything I've done, to get where I'm at, to have, like, a business where, I'm, like, making moves into stores and things like that, it's all a leap of faith, and it takes a lot of them, and it takes, like, having the fear and doing it anyway, right? We talked about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you don't know. There is no guarantee that it will work out. But you've proven to yourself when you keep going, you keep taking the one jump into the unknown after the other. It's almost like it started to compound. And next thing you know, you're like, wow, I'm actually like, I've replaced my salary with something that I just love doing. How did this even happen? And so, along the way, have you felt, since it sounds like it just started off so fun and lighthearted, have you felt any pressure along the way to, like, now keep it going at the level that you're at currently?
Love to say no, but absolutely. I've had growing pains, right? Well, even back in the day of like the craft fairs where I was still a teacher and it was just like, I'm doing this for fun, maybe I'll make $300 or whatever. There would be mornings before the craft fair where I would get like the imposter syndrome. And there's definitely been one where I had 3 different signs. This is like anyone who does like has a business or craft fairs or branding like will totally relate to this. Like it's so hard to find your imagery at first. Like I made 3 different signs for craft fairs and I kept being like, not good enough, not good enough until I got like some beautiful fabric and I paid this artist that I really love to make me a logo. And it was just finally like very aligned. But
Mhm.
I remembered there's this show in San Francisco called West Coast Craft. And it's almost like dumb how like Game of Thrones this show is, but it's like really hard to get into. It's really highly, highly curated. People come from all around the country to sell at West Coast Craft, and I got in, during the pandemic after this was, like, after I quit my job and I was, like, striking out on my own, but I was still, like, definitely, like, a baby jeweler, without, like, a super clear vision. I was selling some pieces that I still sell today, but, I remember just standing in my living room crying, like,
Yeah.
in front of all my shit that I was about to pack up for the craft fair because I was, like, having the worst imposter syndrome. Because like, some people that go there, they do, like, full build outs of it's like, "Oh, you're in, like, Narnia or something." I don't know that but they build these whole worlds, and I just had, like, a table and a little sign. So I that was overwhelming. Now I'm like, the table and the sign is kinda chic, you know?
Yeah.
I'm still not building Narnia. And I think you focus on your craft and you focus on what's you and don't try to be like anyone else, but it's hard at first because you have to look to someone when you're building your business that you admire or is doing something in a way that you hope to.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome is a sneaky little bitch. I have definitely experienced this a lot. I've actually talked to many, like, high performing women in my career in tech sales, and it's so prevalent among high performing women who, like, have proven themselves over and over again, but inside they're still like, somebody's gonna figure out that I'm a fraud, which is just crazy that we're so hard on ourselves and, like,
Yeah.
we have all of this stuff to prove it. Like, for instance, like, sure, these people can build out these beautiful areas for their jewelry, but at the end of the day, it's the jewelry that speaks for yourself. Like, I'm not buying jewelry from somebody because they made a really pretty cave of wonders that I entered. Like, I'm buying
Yeah,
it for the jewelry. And,
exactly.
it's really impressive that you were able to continuously just overcome the imposter syndrome. And I'd love for you to talk about how you just slowly figured things out, because when you're building a business like this, everything's new. Like, you had to figure out how to build a website, you had to figure out how to then sell yourself to even get into stores, how to sell yourself to even get into these trade shows. And what did that process look like for you?
Ooh, one step at a time, honestly. You have to chip
Yeah.
away at it. But one of the first things that really helped me shift, um, was that to see myself as an artist and to value myself in the way that artists value themselves. Because at first, like, I would just any commission anyone asked for, I would say yes. I was burning myself out trying to make these, like, low priced items just to kind of, like, hit every target person or be accessible to everyone. Um, and it's just not sustainable. Like I make everything. Like now I'm getting help with like if I don't want to do all my castings, if I don't have time, like for a big show, I have someone I can send my castings to. If I need help with stone setting, like I've built a network, but for the most part, it's like just me. And so, it's really easy to burn yourself out. So you
Doing
have to like
everything.
learn what your boundaries are and what is going to be the best thing to do. Um, the other thing I started doing was, like, making connections in the industry. I have a lot of, like, good friends now that are jewelers and, teaching was a big thing because I learned so much just from being at Metalworks. But yeah, like, build your network and connect with other people in your field. Jewelers are funny. They're like it's a bunch of pirates and cowboys, and everyone's a little crazy. And I definitely, like, fit in with that vibe, but yeah, it's just been amazing, like and I've traveled to Tucson with some of these girls, 2 years in a row, we've gone to the Tucson Gem Fair, we have, like, group chats, we're just always, communicating about it, and it's really helpful because we are all these, like, lone wolf businesses, so it's nice to have buddies,
Absolutely.
and I also did, when I was first like, I had an Etsy before I had my website. I took a class, um, with this woman, Phoebe Sherman, and it was she runs Girl Gang Craft, and it was, like, all about, like, building your website, and, like, there are, like, classes for beginner business people because I just, like, didn't understand any of that stuff. Coming from teaching, like, I don't have to market my class, you just have to be in it.
Right. Right.
So,
And it's high school,
those
so you're
little
like
things were hard for me to learn.
absolutely, and I think that's hard for a lot of people just getting out and starting a business. They're super overwhelmed. They just want to focus on their craft and the thing they love, not necessarily the business and the marketing. But you said something really important, and that was you changed your view of yourself and you started to see yourself as an artist and as somebody who is creative. And this mindset shift alone probably did so much for you. And I would love for you to just speak on because like I said, there are so many people listening probably who are like would not consider themselves creative, but the more you realize that like everybody actually does have a creative nature, like we are just creative beings in general. And so I'd love for you to
Mhm.
talk about the process of switching your mindset. Was it just like instantaneously where one day you were like, "You know what? I am an artist." Or what did that look like for you?
Well, I know one day I just declared this to I was eating with my friend Kevin, he probably doesn't even remember this. We were at this place, Rad House. It was after West Coast Craft, one of the shows, um, and I just declared this to him, but I do remember, sitting down and writing a list of my boundaries. Like, what are my hard no's? What are my boundaries? Um, and then I kinda built from there, like, what do I envision my business being like? Because I think as an artist, you have to you're creating value, and, like, I am working with raw materials that literally are currency, like gold is money, but, you have to learn that, like, your experience, everything you're putting into this, your vision, like, that is all value. Your time is value. And not to sell myself short anymore with my pricing or with what I will accept as a job or just, like, the situations I'll put myself into. I don't, like, really do craft fairs that much anymore because it's just a lot of burnout. Most of my work is made to order, and then, yeah, the trade show, we can talk about that later, but that's like a whole different horizon, a whole 'nother level, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and then how did you start find like when you moved away from just the regular craft fairs and you started putting yourself out there online, how did you start finding clients who wanted to buy your art?
Oh my gosh. Social media is it's such a tool and such a friggin' like Goliath to slay. I mean all my clients come from Instagram basically. And I mean I can tell that from my website, like the metrics of it all. So I really like focused on that, but I still need to like not get better. I don't want to say like have to do this or that, but I still haven't like found a really good pace of that. And I've heard all the advice around how to do that, but it's not my passion. And I'll go through periods of time where I'm like posting a lot and then I'll like take a week off. But the more I post, the more people find me. So it's like just get on there and dance monkey.
I know that it's such a love-hate with the social media, isn't it? It's like,
Mhm.
you're like, "This actually is like a cash machine for me, and I still can't figure out a way to, like, love doing it." And
Mhm.
that just is what it is, right? You just
Yeah.
it all comes somewhere.
Did you read that book 10 times is easier than 2 times?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been big, like, finding people to help me with things because I was like, I can't do everything on my own anymore, and keep up with customs and orders. So like I said, like, I have my network in case I need them, um, but also, like, maybe, like, a social media person, that'd be nice as, like, a next evolution. Just someone to
Throwing that
come
out
help
there to the
me.
world.
Yeah. Like, someone to come help me, like, film, like, 2 reels a week or that'll be in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those of you listening, the I can't think of who that book was by. It's like 10x is better than 2x.
Yeah. Oh, it was such a good book. If you have your own business.
Such such a good book. It really does help you. I've actually mentioned it a couple of times in the podcast because the thing I got the biggest like, my biggest lesson from that book was when you're working towards a big goal and you have all of these, like, future ideas of yourself and who you wanna be and what you wanna accomplish, a lot of times when we compare ourselves to that future version, we're noticing all of the lack. Like, for instance, like, for your journey, like, I don't know how to build a website. I don't know how to market myself. I don't really know how to do all of these reels. I'm not even really sure how to get into all of these businesses that I want to get into. And that kind of brings you down, you know? It makes you feel like, oh, shit, like, can I do this? But when you reverse that and you look at yourself of who you are today and you look back in time and realize how far you've come, it gives you, it like empowers you more. And you're like, wait a second, I've already figured out how to do all of this. I actually figured out how to even make jewelry. Like if I could figure that out, of course I could figure everything else out. And so was there a moment when you started to feel really empowered? Like, holy shit, this is my life. Look at me now.
Honestly, just, like, my day to day is just so lovely.
Yeah.
Like, the life that I have built, the pace in which I get to live and make my own schedule is amazing. Cause like, I worked for the man for 14 years, and I had to get up at the ass crack of dawn, like, an ungodly hour. I am not a morning person, and I never went to bed early, so I was just chronically sleep deprived. Um, it's a grueling pace, like, every day you have to get there and entertain people, and I was a good teacher, I was good at it, but just, like, I feel like the situation that I've created is just what I want, and that's the beauty of having your own business, is you get to tell yourself what to do. But that's also the hard part because you can get distracted very easily. I'm like
Yeah.
a squirrel, or I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go lift weights," and then I need to make lunch, and then I'm like, "Oh, crap, I didn't do anything," and then I have to work at night, so
I definitely can relate to that. I also am
Mhm.
not a morning person and I work from home. So it's the same thing. I'm like, oh, I need to do this, then I need to do this, then I need to do this. And none of these thises involve work. So I totally get that. And it really
There's
is.
also, like, running a business, there's computer work involved, and sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing computer work," and then I'm in bed, the computer work starts.
Actually just
Drifting.
scrolling and you're like, "Well, I'm on the computer. Have I done anything related to my business? No."
I just
Oh.
bought the brick though. Have you heard of this?
I saw something on social media where somebody was asking if you had been bricked, and I was like, "What is this? What is this?"
Yeah, it's like this thing that you buy, and it just literally blocks you out of your apps. Cause there's the timer, but you just cancel it.
Oh,
It's
yeah, the
like
timer doesn't work at all.
doesn't work at all.
Timer was a joke. I'm like, "Yeah, like, after
No.
15 minutes."
So the brick is, yeah, you, like, tell it, like, from 10 AM to 5 PM or 10 AM to 7 PM, whatever you want it, you can't open Instagram, TikTok, whatever I don't know what else, Threads or Twitter, or X.
Anything you can scroll on.
Always Twitter.
No
But
scrolling apps.
yeah, and you can't go on the apps. You can, like, make an emergency call, you can email, I'm sure you could brick your email if that's distracting to you. But I just ordered it, and that's gonna be good because sometimes and that's another thing in that 10X book. Sometimes I just need to block out time where I'm doing something and I have no distractions, and it's really hard in this world of ours.
It really is. I mean, the amount of times I've gone on my phone to just check something, like just say my bank account or something. And then next thing you know, I have opened every other app, I mindlessly have opened like Instagram, TikTok, my email. I actually do open my email a lot for work. And I'm like, why did I just do any of that? And it was just like this natural reflex of my thumb to like X out of one app and open the other. And I was like, that I did not even consciously make that decision. That just like my hand just did that for me. What the hell?
It's totally, and, like, the way it works for me, I'll get, like, this random thought in my head, and then I go to my like, this happened to me earlier today. I wanted to know where the person lived that I was making the piece for because I wanted to know how long it would take to ship. And so I went on it was either my phone or computer to check that, and I did, like, 50 other things, and then I forgot why I even went on there. And then
Yep.
I went sat back down at my bench and looked at the piece, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's why."
Yeah, I do that all the freaking time too. And then I'm like, I know I got on here for a reason and I just did 50 other things. What was my original reason? I don't even know. Oh man. So yeah, the time management aspect of being your own boss, it sounds like it's kind of a like 50% you're like, I can do whatever I want. The pace of my life is fantastic. It's awesome. And then the other 50% is like, but also I need to really like control myself to be able to get things done. And I'm sure a lot of, business owners and entrepreneurs who it's just them and their business can probably relate to this. So maybe they need to look into this brick thing too.
Oh my god, yeah. And just, like, everybody in general.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's rough. But you
Yeah.
have to, figure out, like, first of all, are you type A? Are you type B? And then, like, just put some protocols in place for yourself. Like, for me, I have to be done computer work by 10 AM. So, like, I have to stop drinking coffee in bed by 10 AM. But the computer work is real. Uh, but I have to
Yeah.
stop doing it because it's comfy.
Comfy and cozy, and it's like you are working, but you trick yourself sometimes too of like, "This is being productive and getting me towards my goals," when sometimes we just sort of spin in circles, and so, you also said you're a mom and you have a young daughter who is adorable, and so just talk to us about managing that, like running your own business from your house while also raising a little cute, adorable mini human.
Um, it's nice because preschool is wild. They'll just have you pick up your kid at, like, 2 in the afternoon. It's like zoo day. Um, or they're like, "We're off," or they, like, find every single holiday that exists and that it's closed. And I get it, teachers need breaks, like, I used to be one, but I'm like, if I was teaching, still, I could not come to this. Like, I don't know how a normal person with a 9 to 5, like, does any of these things. So it's nice to have, like, flexibility, when you have a kiddo.
Mm.
And, for a while when I was teaching at night, which became really hard, like, missing my kid 1 day a week. So I just kind of, like, got rid of all my teaching gigs except maybe I'm gonna do, like, a daytime class, in the summer. But you just have to, like, do the thing and then see what works and reevaluate. Overall, I think having a business and a kid is they really go well together.
Yeah. The freedom and the flexibility. I love that your curiosity is what led you to a class that then led you to this business. And then you said you also were teaching jewelry classes. So you then were the person inspiring other people to enter this line of work. And what did that feel like to go from the person in class to being the person teaching the class?
Well, as you know, teaching is I'm pretty good at it, so that was, like, a natural evolution. It's cool, like, I feel like I really enjoyed teaching adults after teaching teenagers for so long. Like, my students I live in San Francisco, so, like, everyone's in tech. So a lot of people, like, live in that virtual world all day long. Maybe they're working from home now. So a lot of them were like, "I really need something tangible." Uh, and wax casting, that's what I do. Um, it is really beginner friendly, and so everyone, like, made something really cool. So it's neat to see that evolution. Some people are really freaking talented. I had this one girl, she just, like, did these immaculate carvings, and then I'd be like, "Oh, are you gonna, like, start selling these?" And she was like, "No, I just it's fun." So I feel like everyone can kind of find that thing. Like, I really wanna find a hobby I don't monetize, like, maybe take a pottery class or something, but everyone should find a thing, that's like a creative outlet for them that's tangible.
I completely agree. Speaking as someone who lives in the virtual world of tech and working from home, which I'm so grateful for. I love the working from home aspect, but it is like so nice. I actually took a 6-week pottery class when I was in Florida. And it was, first of all, it was so nice to just get out and be around other adults instead of just you in your house all day. And there was something about creating something with my hands and seeing an outcome and being like, holy shit, I did that. That is so special. And so tell us about where are you going? Like, tell us about your dreams and this trade show and what's next for you and the evolution of your business.
Yeah. Um, I guess the next evolution would be, like, for the longest time, I felt like I mean, I was learning the skills, and I was just designing and building my collection. For the longest time, I was felt like I was, like, waiting in the shadows, building my collection, like, figuring out who I am. I really have only done this 5 days a week for, like, a year. I was, like, a stay-at-home mom, and then, uh, I had my daughter on Mondays, so, like, I feel like I've really, like even just that, like, having 5 days to work, and build has, like, made such a huge difference, and even though I've, like, been building this craft over the years, it's like the business has really grown, in the past year, and the next step really is, like, making relationship with stores,
Mhm.
because they are, like, your marketing BFF, they're making sales for you, so I really wanna get into wholesaling, and it's a tough market, it's and I, like, hate when people say this, but, like, jewelry is a saturated market, like, there's a lot of it out there, but to me, that I don't care, like, that doesn't matter to me. Everything's saturated, there's, like, what, like, 8 billion people on this planet,
Something
um,
like that.
and so because of that, really one of the ways to get in someone's mind is to meet them in person. And so trade shows are trade only. It's not like a craft fair where customers are coming and buying things. It's like registered stores come to the trade show and they find you and they place orders, and you, like, build relationships from there. So I just applied to my first one ever and got in, and I'm so excited.
Yes.
But I'm like also like, ooh, I'm nervous because I have to not only make everything before August, because all my work is made to order. So I have to make everything to bring it to present.
Yeah.
Um, but I have all these ideas of like showstoppers that I want to also make. So it's just like I'm like in grind mode right now.
Absolutely, because you're running everything you currently have, doing all of your custom orders, and getting ready for this huge event that, I mean, who knows what's gonna happen there, right? Like,
I
there's no
know.
telling what connections you're gonna make or who's gonna like what, or even the connections, you're gonna make with other artists. There's just no telling what's gonna come of that. So that is extremely exciting and probably a really good point for you to sit back and be like, "Oh, snap. Do I need some assistance getting all of this ready for this right
I
now?"
100% do. I'm definitely gonna get help. Like I have some friends that'll help me. Like that's a cool thing about being part of a studio. It's like I have this network of buddies. And definitely get some help. Definitely go shop. Like you think about everything. It's like the outfit, the setup for the booth. But it's all fun too. Not to mention the price of gold is like literally bonkers right now. So she gonna be expensive, but
Yeah,
but it'll be fun.
it will be fun. So are you tell us a little bit about that too, like your medium that you work with. I know you do mostly gold and then you do some silver too. And I mean, do you see like what's the difference when you're making the jewelry between the two? And is there one you like more than the other?
Gold is magic. It is a metal that does not tarnish. It does not oxidize. Like it's 24 karat gold. Like you got to play with it at some point in your life. Like I work in 14, but like 24 karat gold, you can literally chew on it. Like it's so soft and just like so glowy and cool. Like I love gold. Gold looks good on me. I was told though when I got my colors done that I could wear either. So I'm blessed.
What do you mean when you got your colors done? What is that?
Here where they hold up the color sheet up to you. And I'm a dark autumn. I look really pale right now, but I have olive skin. Uh, but yeah, I can wear either. But yeah, gold is just it's so lovely. It's so lovely. I always say like we don't need lab diamonds. Let's get some lab gold going.
Right.
That's literally like what the alchemists were trying to do all that time. Someone actually did, that CERN reactor, someone actually did figure out how to make gold from lead, but it probably costs like $1 billion to do that. So I don't think it's coming our way anytime soon.
No.
So
Like,
I
that's not
do
the cost
offer,
effective.
yeah, and like gold is a luxury item. And that is not attainable for everybody. So I do make a lot of my designs in silver as well, but I like to make the silver as a luxury item too. So I'm often putting diamonds, gemstones, treating it with as much love as I do the gold.
Yeah,
Even though gold
absolutely.
is just chef's kiss.
The is where it's at. You sent me when you said you could put 24 karat gold in your mouth and chew on it. I was like, "I'm sorry, what?"
It's soft. Yeah. It's so soft.
That's so cool. That's
Really fun to play with.
I love that. And so for those people who are listening who are like, wow, like this woman really just followed her curiosity, found a hobby and turned it into a whole ass business. But they're like, I have no idea what kind of hobby I would want to start. And maybe even, they're looking at it through the wrong lens of starting a hobby that ends up becoming a business. Like, what would you say to them about just getting out there and finding something that they actually enjoy doing?
I say this to people, you should just do it. You should absolutely do it. Follow your passion. Just sign up for the thing and don't quit your job right away.
Seriously.
Like buy all I don't know if I'm in my workshop. You like most of the tools are not behind me, but I have hundreds of tools. And so it's expensive. So, like, build your little craft slowly while you still have the job, and then, it might never pan out, but it might be something you do when you retire, who knows?
It's so true. And I think it's really important too because there's so much stuff out there on social media. And I think there's a very different way to just jump into the unknown and jump into the unknown, but also knowing you have yourself. Like, I would never recommend to anybody just quit your job and full send it if you don't actually have like a monetary cushion where you can afford to not make it for a couple of months. And
Mhm.
there's so much out there that it's like, no, just put it all on your credit card, get yourself in debt, go follow your dream. And while sure, a lot of people have been successful at that, like you really need to look at you yourself as a person and think of like which way is going to bring you the most joy and which way is going to stress you out so much that you actually not even end up enjoying what it is you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're no stranger to that.
No, I've done that a million times. I've jumped into the unknown so many times, it's crazy. But I definitely always do the math first. Like, I'm a very, like for as for all the decisions I've made that are not logical at all, there's always a tiny bit of my logical brain that has, like, a little bit of a, "Are you gonna be okay if this doesn't work out?" And on the other end of that, there is an extreme amount of trust that if I get, months into it and I'm not feeling it anymore, that I trust myself enough to be able to pivot. And I think that's a big one too for people who are jumping out and starting a business is you have to have this like unshakable trust of a foundation to be able to make a leap like that anyways.
Mhm.
Especially
Yeah.
since it's you.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely follow your passions. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be a business, just do it. Um, we really need hobbies. And then if it is a business, just I mean, I'm not ever giving up.
Mhm.
That's it's
Period.
just that simple. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And you really never know what like where that curiosity is gonna lead you. I was just when I was started traveling, I got really into photography and I had zero intention of ever making photography a any type of thing that would make me money. Like, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And so, I'd save up money and I bought my first camera. And then from there, I played around with that and I really started to like it even more. And I also have a tendency to get into very expensive hobbies. So, next thing you know, I've got this very expensive camera and all of this equipment. And I've built myself up quite a cute little portfolio of like nature and wildlife. And that ended up leading me to a dream job that I didn't even know was a dream, like and looking back, like, when I first got the camera, I would have never known that picking up that little hobby would have led me to be a photography guide in Alaska. Like, I had no idea, and so I think it's really important too, to not put any pressure on a hobby at first. Just literally do it for the enjoyment of it with the open mind of, "I don't know, let's see where this takes me."
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there is that pressure nowadays because, like, you can make a brand so easily now
Yeah.
that people do it and then their whole heart's not in it because they didn't totally think it through. Because like,
Yeah.
just being somewhere in this space and, like, going to shows and I've seen a lot of businesses be born and die, and that there's a lot of reasons for that, and I'm not passing judgment or anything, but I think you don't have to do it that quickly if you don't want. Maybe you're just like, "It's do or die, baby, let's go," but, most of us aren't in that position.
That is true. Anything else you have that you want to just tell the audience about whether it's starting your own business, leaving a career that you spent years and years in and you were like, I did you even have any intention originally of like I'm definitely getting out of teaching or were you just kind of cruising and like, this is fine for what it is?
I always said I was gonna get out of teaching.
Yeah.
I said it, I didn't think I was gonna become a full-time jeweler, but I was like, "YOLO," like, 10 after 10 years, I'm leaving, and I kept saying that, and I did not leave it 10 years. My job paid pretty well. Like I worked in Silicon Valley, like at a private school. Like I started in a public school for 6 years, and then when I moved to California, it was like a great school, amazing. I'm like still in touch with some of my students. Like the teacher community was amazing, but I just like was feeling that YOLO thing where I needed to do something else. I didn't know what it was going to be. Um, but like I said, it wasn't until I forget the question, but it wasn't until the pandemic, and motherhood where I actually made that jump. There's something about motherhood too where the hormones, I had this like awakening, like spiritual awakening. I'm not even kidding you when I was pregnant. And it makes sense. Like hormones do powerful things. Like they
Mhm.
build a full ass human in your body.
Literally.
And so changing your mind is not out of the realm of possibilities. It totally happened to me. But what was your question, Rachel? I forget. You for- okay.
Fully listening to you. But I think it was a twofold question. And part of it definitely was, did you ever see yourself leaving teaching? And you answered
Mhm.
that. And
Yes.
the other part was just kind of like, what advice would you give people who, are starting a business all by themselves and they're feeling like the unshakiness, but they have that knowing like you of I'm never going to give up because I know this is going to work. And so for times where they're questioning what the fuck they're actually doing, like what advice would you give them?
Oh, I would say make sure it's something that you want to give your whole heart to because when you run a business, like I said, like a lot of times I'm working till 3 in the morning.
Mhm.
You're not like gonna do less work than your regular job. You might be able to pick when it is, but make sure it's something you really care about, you're passionate about. Build your network, build your skills, and find the joy in it. Like I feel like sometimes I lose the plot. And then, it's easy for me because to fall back in love with it, I just make myself something.
I just remembered we haven't even talked about your book. So where did this come from? What inspired you to write a book? Like,
Oh, I've written a lot of books.
you've written a lot of
I
books.
A lot of them have been children's books, though, in my field. I was a government teacher. I've never sent any of them out to get published. I'm, like, just doing it because 'cause I'm crazy, but, I will one day. But now this next book, it's kind of, what I've learned from how to teach and how to be creative.
Mhm.
So it's that. That's all I'll say. It's top secret, but
Be creative. So like helping people tap into their own
Mhm.
creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
That's
think it's really good. I still have I'm only, like, halfway through it, though,
work in
but
progress. You'll get there. It will make its appearance into the
I
world.
would love it to live in the world. But when I finish writing it, I want to do it. I wanna go through the whole thing and do the like, as if I'm, like, a reader,
Yeah.
um, which is probably standard for I don't know, people that write books, but, I'm excited. Yeah. But I think the teaching thing and the being a creative person thing, like, it's a special skill set that is making this, idea come alive.
Absolutely. And tapping into your creativity like later in your journey and owning it. And I think
Mhm.
a lot of people could use that help of like just tapping into their own creativity and finding that for themselves and just, being curious and owning that they are a creator and they do have creativity that lives inside of them. And so,
Yeah.
with our final couple of minutes here, is there just anything else that's on your heart that you want to say to people?
I'm thinking a lot recently about, like, how to make something soulful,
Mm,
and so I've just been, like, floating that idea with everything I do, um, 'cause I feel like that we're lacking a lot of that nowadays, like, with this AI, slop world. Uh, I think that's why people are drawn to someone with a effervescent personality like you, or something made by hand. There's soul in that thing. So I don't know. I don't know if that's like parting words or advice. I've just like really been floating that, and that I want my business to be led by that when I find that conclusion.
I love that. It kind of gives everybody something to contemplate on. And even you just speaking that out into existence, I was like, ooh, yeah, I feel that a lot. Cause I listen to a lot of guided meditations on YouTube. And I found that before the AI was prevalent, there were certain people that I listened to. And now I find myself only going back and listening to their meditations because I know it's their real human voice and not
Hmm.
one of the AI voices. And I can feel the difference. And I'm like, I'm tapping into this meditation to feel something, not listen to a freaking robot say some words that it wrote. So I love that.
I know it's everywhere. And like you on Pinterest, and like I'll search like because I've been working on my workshop visually and organizationally. I'm like beautiful workshop, and it's like an AI thing, but it's like kind of fire. But I'm
Mhm.
I have to remind myself like that's not gonna you can't make that exist because that doesn't exist. And it's just pulling from a lot of other people, and like making it this like fairyland workshop. But yeah, it's like it's hard to tell now.
It
But
is.
yeah, live with soul, lead with soul, bring objects into your life with soul. Use that to lead what you do, and I think that will lead to happiness. At
Mm,
least it does for me.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Rachel, I love you and I love your podcast. I'm always listening. This is such a treat because I listen to podcasts all day. I've never been on one.
And here you are. Your time is now. She has arrived. We will bring her back on after her trade show and see what all she learned and how it went.
Mhm.
And for those of you listening, I'll put her link into the description if you want to check out her jewelry. It's honestly fucking incredible. And talk about soul. Like, your style is definitely very unique and very you. And I definitely appreciate that. I can see the soul that you put in all of your pieces. So I'll link that below for you guys to check out. And thanks for listening.
Thank you.